Hello friends! Ooh, excuse me. Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma and today we're going to be talking about probably one of my favorite easy care houseplants, something that's a great staple to any home or office even, the very own Zamioculcas Zamiifolia, better known as the ZZ plant. This one here is actually a ZZ raven, so the ZZ plant's goth cousin. So the difference between the ZZ and the ZZ raven is that the ZZ raven is quite a lot darker, almost a black colored leaf, as opposed to the normal ZZ plant. I think a normal ZZ plant is normally about this tone of green, but they pretty much do the same thing and they need about the same care needs, so figure I can accurately talk about it. Yes, this is the very beautiful ZZ plant. Like I said earlier, it's definitely one of the easiest plants to take care of. They don't need all that much extra care or help in order to grow big and strong. It's just really easy and they're pretty difficult to kill, so they're really great for beginner plant owners or people who just want to have a plant and want to kind of set and forget rather than set and then water constantly for the next 8 years while you're trying to keep your plant alive, desperately holding on. So that's where this one comes in really handy, because you can just kind of leave it to do its thing and it'll grow and continue to thrive. Because they're basically nearly indestructible, they're really great for offices as well because they can handle quite a lot of neglect. And so if no one's really going to look after it in an office, they often put these in them because they look nice. They almost look fake. Their waxy leaves kind of make them look like they're made out of plastic, which is kind of funny, but they're not. It's totally real. It's a real plant living and breathing, but could be commonly misconstrued as fake. So if you see one of these in your office and you're like, oh yeah, that fake plant's been here for years, it might not be fake. It could be real. It could just be a real ZZ plant. Before I get started, if you like this video, can you please give it a thumbs up down below and comment on other houseplants you'd like me to talk about next, and hopefully I can get all of them to you in future videos, and subscribe for more. So let's get into it. When it comes to watering your ZZ plant, they don't need all that much. They're quite drought tolerant. They've got very tuberous stems and rhizomes underneath the soil, and those hold a lot of water, so they don't need to be watered all that often. So you can honestly forget to water it a lot and it'll still be okay. They'll still manage to thrive, which is good. Basically, you almost don't want to water until the soil is 100% dry, and I think I pretty much stick to that. I use my water meter to test. So if you don't have a water meter and you water your plants maybe like weekly, I'd say maybe forget this one. Every week or every 2 weeks, just don't water it. So give it a lot more time between waterings because it doesn't need them. It doesn't want to be wet. Probably one of the only ways you can actually kill a ZZ plant is through overwatering. You'll know that you're doing that because the stems and leaves will start to get yellow and a bit mushy, and then you'll know that it's starting to get rhizome rot because you're giving it way too much water. So don't water all that much. I think I probably water this one every 3 weeks. Maybe a little bit more in the summer, so maybe every 2 weeks in the summer because it gets quite warm. Really not that often. I think it's very good for just leaving it, and that's really nice for some beginner plant owners or plant owners who just want to have a plant that they don't need to like coddle constantly. So yeah, don't water all that much and it'll be fine. So ZZ plants are often said to be low light plants, which is kind of true but also kind of false. They can tolerate very low light, but that's tolerate. They will still live in it, but they won't grow, they won't thrive in very low light. So you could put one in a place that really doesn't experience that much light, but it's not gonna get any bigger or stronger or put out this crazy new growth like I've got here. So it's best light is kind of medium to bright indirect light. That's its ideal. We all want that for our plants. We want them to keep growing. So it still could function in super low light, but it's not its ideal, which is totally fair. Also, they don't like direct sunlight. It will burn the leaves, and you don't want that either. You don't like getting sunburned, neither do your plants. So, I mean, I can't assume you don't like getting sunburned. I don't know who you are, but you know. So try and keep them out of direct sunlight. I personally have this in my bedroom at the minute, and it's on a dresser that's 2 meters away from the window. I think 2 meters or 6 feet away from a northeast window, and especially now that it is getting into winter and the days are getting quite short, it's not getting all that much light. I moved it down there because I needed to put some of my more light needing plants in the living room, which gets quite a lot more light. I figured if anyone can tolerate the low lights of our bedroom, this guy can. So he's just chilling down there for a while until it gets to be summer and I can rearrange my plants again. When it comes to temperature, the ZZ plant will probably be happy and comfortable in your home if you're happy and comfortable in your home. They can tolerate quite a range of temperatures, but they don't really want to get below 5 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That is too cold for them, and they really will not like that, and they could die. So avoid harsh cold. Other than that, this should be fine in your house. Also, it doesn't super like hot or cold drafts. I think it's a bit of a shock to the system for them. So avoid putting it near vents or windows that could create those drafts, and it should be okay. Temperature isn't one of the things that can really kill them. Sorry, that was poking me in the neck. When it comes to humidity, average household humidity is probably fine for the ZZ plant. They don't really need all that much. I don't add any supplemental humidity to this one, and it seems to be fine. You'll know if you're having humidity problems if the tips of the leaves start getting brown and crispy. Then you should probably add a little bit more humidity, but not lots. It doesn't need loads. When it comes to soil, they like a pretty well-draining soil, so lots of perlite or sand or whatever you use to make your soil drainy, because it doesn't like to sit in water. Like we said, rhizome rot is not your friend. So well-draining soil will be. Also, it's important to keep it in, it's awful noise. Also, it's important to keep it in a pot with drainage holes. As you can see, got drainage holes down here. And it likes that because, again, it doesn't like to sit in the water. I keep it in its nursery pot within the decorative pot, so I enjoy the beauty, but also the functionality of it all. Also, they do like to be a little bit pot bound, so you really don't have to repot them all that often. I think I've read like every 2 to 3 years. Or if the pot starts getting so tight that you can't, that it can't breathe anymore and it could break the pot. But also, it doesn't mind having its roots sticking out above the soil, so I've got one just here that's sticking out above the soil. It doesn't mind that at all, but if it starts getting too much, or if you don't like that, you could repot it. It just prefers to be a bit more tight in there. I don't know if you can see this, but it is super solid and almost warping the pot a little bit around here. I got it like that. Thought about repotting it, but I think I might wait until either this spring or next spring before I do that, because I'm happy with the size it is now. But yeah, so it can handle a bit of tightness in its pot, and it does actually prefer that to being a bit looser. When it comes to fertilizer, it doesn't need a whole lot. They probably want to be fed about once or twice in the spring and summer, and definitely not at all in the autumn and winter. Probably with a half strength fertilizer as well. You don't want to over fertilize. I think I fertilized this one probably about that once or twice this past summer, and it seems to be growing fine. As you can see, I've got some different colors in here, which is cool. That means there's new growth. So when the growth comes out, it's this like super bright neon-y green color, and as the stalks mature and mature, they get darker and darker, so I kind of actually have a really good display of that. So this was my newest one, then getting older, and then the oldest stuff. It really does have super crazy stark contrast, which is something that I really like about it, and it shows me that I'm growing it well and I'm giving it what it wants, so that's good. But it does take quite a long time for the stems to turn black. So this is my oldest new stem. It's kind of an oxymoron, but my oldest new stem, the first new stem I've had on this since I got it. I think it was like proper months and months and months ago that it actually came out, and it still has a lot of the light green in it compared to a lot of the older growth that came with the plant that originally I bought. It takes a long time, but it's really cool. It kind of starts at the tips of the leaves and works its way in a kind of spooky way. Kind of looks like it's slowly dying, but it's not. It's living its best life. So there's a few different ways that you can propagate the ZZ plant. First one being rhizome division. The next, there's leaf cuttings, and then there's stem cuttings. The only one that I've actually kind of done, but not actually done, is a stem cutting. So I've given stem cuttings away to people. Basically, all you need to do is cut off a bit of the stem, and then you stick it in water, and then the roots will grow out from the bottom of the stem. It will eventually make its own new rhizome tubery thing, and you'll be able to stick it in soil. But that takes quite a long time, I've heard, especially if you're doing it in autumn and winter, which isn't the ideal time for it. If you're gonna do it, be prepared to be patient, because it's gonna take a long time. So when it comes to toxicity, these guys are actually toxic if you ingest them as humans or pets. So ideally keep them away from your children and pets, or they'll cause issues internally. I don't think they'll kill you, but it's best to just stay away rather than eating them. I mean, like I always say, don't eat your plants. You'll probably be okay. But also there was this crazy rumor going around, I think it was a few years back, that ZZ plants were so toxic that they could actually cause cancer, which is definitely not true. It's definitely a myth. They aren't going to cause cancer. People still do recommend that you wear gloves while handling them, or that you wash your hands directly after. I personally have never experienced that after working with my ZZ plant. I don't wash my hands afterwards, and I'm still here, and I don't have rashes all the time. I don't think it is that big of an issue personally, but maybe if you have super sensitive skin, which I normally do, so I don't know, it might be a problem for you. Basically, I don't do it, but best recommendation is that you wash your hands after use. Touch at your own risk. So that's it. That's all you need to know in order to take care of your very own ZZ plant or ZZ Raven. I hope that this video was helpful and that you found it somewhat entertaining. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up down below, and write a comment on other houseplants you'd like me to talk about in the future, and subscribe for more videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!